Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
He turned back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
1-1 for Tyson. Batista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
What's going on, New England Patriots fans? It's your boys at PSO Takes. I'm your man, Brandon.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Rob.
It's your boy Mike, man. Let's get to it.
And man, last year was disappointing for the Patriots. We all thought it was going to happen. Losing Tom Brady is massive. And I think this team missed the playoffs for the second time in the last 17 or 18 years. So that stung a little bit for New England. You're not used to not having that success each and every single year. But this team turned around quick, and they made a lot of winning moves. They got players such as Dante Hightower coming back from injury, which is massive. Actually, I don't think he got injured. I think he just opted out because of COVID last year. You know, they got a two-headed monster back at tight end with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Obviously, it's not what they had in the past at the tight end position, but those are still two really good players and receiving threats. They got Matt Judon, who's going to bring a lot of spice and attitude to this team. They got Nelson Aguilar, receiver. They got Kendrick Bourne at receiver. Jalen Mills at safety. Devon Godchild, Ted Karras, Henry Anderson. They got Trent Brown and Kyle Van Noy back, who have been pivotal players for this franchise and always have balled out in their time in New England. Unfortunately, they have had some subtractions. They cut Cam Newton, so Cam Newton is no longer a New England Patriot.
Oh.
They gave up on Sony Michel. They went ahead and traded him to the Rams. They lost Damiere Byrd, who was one of the best receivers last year, surprisingly. Lost Joe Thuney, traded Marcus Cannon. Edelman went ahead and retired. Rex Burkhead, who did all the little things, kind of in a Kyle Juszczyk role. He wasn't a fullback, but he did all those little things, all those big carries, all those big catches, all those big touchdowns. That's going to be a big loss for this franchise as well.
Where did he go? Yeah, where is he?
Rex Burkhead is on Houston. He's on the Texans.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
He's
Texans
buried in that backfield.
Damn.
buried in the stacked backfield.
Rex,
right?
dude.
I feel bad for him. I wish he was back in New England. And they lost John Simon, who was a starter, very bad starter, very uncapable starter anyways. But they had an amazing draft. They got Mac Jones, who's obviously QB1. Mac Jones could win Rookie of the Year this year. He has to do a lot of things because he doesn't have a good wide receiver staff. It's hard when your best wide receiver is Nelson Aguilar, and there's not much depth after that. But we'll see what he can turn around. But they do have those two tight ends. They also got Christian Barmore in the second round. He slid out the first round. I think it was due to some character issues. So, I mean, I'm sure New England will get him under check. Ramondre Stevenson, running back out of Oklahoma. He started to come along, and he did some really good things in the preseason. I think I saw him break a long run, and he's a bigger back, so that's good to see that speed. And they also got Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma as well, who could be a good edge rusher with some time under his belt.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Mac Jones, Mac motherfucking Jones. This is the guy who I think will define the 2021 draft. How the Patriots got a franchise quarterback again, slips right to him. All the other guys are off the board, and Mac Jones somehow is the fifth QB in the draft taken. And he's been more impressive already in this preseason than pretty much any other player. He's the reason they got rid of Cam Newton. He's the reason that fans are so optimistic and the Mac Jones era has begun in New England. You mentioned he doesn't have the best weapons around him, and which is going to be a huge difference from what he had in Alabama. So seeing how he's able to make an impact this year without those high caliber weapons to throw to will be huge. But playing in that Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels offense of dinking and dunking and not really risking too much, something that obviously Tom Brady took to a whole nother level. I think Mac Jones has the potential to be very, very successful. And I think if Bill Belichick stays for 6, 7, 8 years, I think they can win not just one, but multiple Super Bowls with that quarterback head coach duo. I'm really a big believer in what he's capable of doing. And they get so many pieces back this season. So if we're just talking about 2021, which is what this video is all about, maybe they don't win the Super Bowl this year, but they could have a huge year, start to build off of it. They get Dante Hightower back. They're adding all those guys in free agency. They're getting that 2 tight end set with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, something that Bill Belichick innovated about a decade ago with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez and all that kind of thing. And it's really hard to see them win the division in the AFC East with Buffalo obviously being there. But I really think they're going to take it down to the wire, and it's going to be like a game or maybe 2 games that separates them by the end of the season.
Yeah, Bill Belichick is not a guy that you want to mess with. He's not a guy that likes losing. He has a great culture at New England. And, I mean, getting Mac Jones, Rob, I'm all over it, what you're talking about, man. Getting him at that spot was just a complete steal. We're seeing it in the preseason now. It's not like this guy was just in a great offense in Alabama. No, he was a big reason why it was a great offense at Alabama.
Thanks.
So I'm all over New England. They're coached well. And when you're coached well, you can really kind of just do a lot in the NFL. They got a lot of guys back. Dante Hightower's a huge guy coming back for them. He's a vet presence in that locker room. Really the only downside that you have is Stephon Gilmore. He's injured right now. He's going to miss some games. But, hey, I love those young corners that are over in New England right now. I really love them.
J.C. Jackson's a stud.
Yeah, man. Bill's been doing a great job with them. So we're going to take our money to something that I would probably put this as a top 5 wager out of all the 32 teams we've done so far. We're going to take the over in their team win totals, 9.5. We're looking for double-digit wins. Might get them into the playoffs, might not. We're not really cared about that. You know, we don't need them to win a Super Bowl or anything. We just need Bill Belichick to get his squad back on track and win 10 games. I think it's very possible. They have all the tools around them. Over 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, this roster is really underrated. I mean, if you look at this roster from top to bottom, outside of the wide receiver position, they have everything you need. And they even have a lot of depth on the defensive side of the ball. The only main injury that they have right now is Anthony Jennings, who was drafted in the 3rd round last year. But, I mean, they're not even worried because I had told you they have that depth. They still have Matt Judon, Chase Winovich, Josh Uche, and they drafted Ronnie Perkins in the 3rd round this year. So, I mean, if anybody goes down on this team outside the wide receiver position, this team is very well equipped to still put somebody in and keep it up.
And you know who's making those decisions in the front office? The same guy that's making the decisions on the field. And you always talk about players playing with a big chip on their shoulder. There's never probably been a coach with a bigger chip on their shoulder than Bill Belichick this season, because he already forgot about all the Super Bowls he won, and all he's thinking about is the fact that everyone says, oh, Tom Brady deserves more credit, because not only did he go and leave to Tampa and have success, he won the whole fucking thing. And so Bill Belichick didn't even make the playoffs for like the first time in like 13 years. So it had the complete opposite effect. Now there's a lot more people on the Brady train than there were the Bill Belichick train of who was the bigger reason for success. So I think we're not going to see any coach with a bigger chip on their shoulder this season than Bill Belichick. And we saw how GM Bill Belichick handled it this offseason, was doing something that probably no one saw coming and making all those moves. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of plays and what kind of decisions he's making throughout the year as the coach of the team.
Yep, Bill Belichick has a big chip on his shoulder. I just seen Asante Samuel, one of his best players, come out and say that Tom Brady deserves a lot more credit for what the Patriots have accomplished.
Former players saying that kind of thing.
I think he even said that Bill Belichick is a mid-coach without Tom Brady, which is actually very wild for him to say. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and go to New York because that is a wild-ass take. Let's get it, man.